people are wondering how to estimate their budget for food and beverage. One of the biggest things to take into consideration is whether or not the food and beverage rentals are in-house. That makes a big difference in your overall cost. I would do about 4 to 6 pieces per person. If it's over the dinner hour, I would do 6 to 8 pieces per person as a minimum. If you're doing food stations, you need to take into consideration, if you're bringing in all of the rentals that you need for every food station, based on your total numbers, you need knives and forks and plates. So your rental budget generally tends to increase when you're doing food stations. Also with buffets, if you think about it, depending on how elaborate the buffet is, although it can be more cost effective because you are not utilizing the same amount of service staff, if you're doing a sit-down dinner, then the budget is a little bit easier to manage as a fixed cost per person, and also in terms of numbers with your catering company and your food and beverage banquet team to help you with those estimates. Some cost-effective ways to do entertainment. I'm often given the task of having to do a big production within a small budget. So one thing that I do is I look at the opportunity for cultural entertainment. So going within your community to cultural groups. I look at community choirs, I look at buskers, I look at different cultural groups within different demographics within the city. Those I find are a little bit more cost effective than some of the corporate entertainment. They're also different. I love to find my entertainment on the street, literally. I've had some of my best performers that I've ever brought into corporate entertainment be buskers that I worked with. Obviously they have to have that level of professionalism. So when people are looking for cost-effective decor, generally I tend to spend my money on audiovisual. I find that audiovisual helps give you the best impact. So if I don't have a ton of money for especially for proppy decor, if I don't have a lot of money for decor, then I stay away from the proppy themes. When I say proppy theme, I mean things like Hollywood and stuff like that, where you would need to bring in big kind of decor pieces. I generally prefer to create a mood, and I create that mood through lighting and through experiences as opposed to through traditional decor methods. There's also lots of great ways to do florals and centerpieces as a do-it-yourself. So you can engage your volunteer team, which I often do, especially for nonprofit events, and you can have them build their own centerpieces. You can get florals from your wholesaler, and as well as vases and whatnot, and as long as you create a prototype, you can even work with the florist to create a prototype and break it down, and your volunteers can help to create that together. There's so many different types of decor that you can utilize. Obviously, linens, chair covers, drapery, but I really find that if you focus on bigger pieces that are going to have bigger impact, it helps your money to go further. So one common thing, it seems like a really obvious thing, but often people will forget. When you're building a budget, don't forget to build out your HST and your gratuities. So generally gratuities are billed on food and beverage items. They range between 15 to 18 and sometimes higher and sometimes lower depending on the venue. So make sure that you include not only your tax, but make sure that you also include your gratuities. Talk to your venue, talk to your local providers, and make sure that you have all of the city taxes covered. So a valuable piece of advice that I would want to give someone on a tight budget is be resourceful. Number one, look within your internal team and look at the resources that you have there. Utilize all of your internal resources as much as possible. I hate taking no for an answer. So even if we don't have the budget, it just means that I need to be more creative and I need to think out of the box. So thank you everyone for your time today. I know it's not everyone's favorite topic, talking about budgeting, but at the end of the day, you can only be as creative as the budget that you have. So it's really important to manage your finances, and it's one of the #1 things in event planning that you need to focus on.